Based off of our investigation at this point, right, we have determined that there's probable cause to go ahead and charge you for what happened.
Let's come out here, Christopher.
No.
It's okay. It's okay.
No.
Okay, so listen.
No.
Christopher Scholtes, the father charged in the hot car death of his 2-year-old daughter, has accepted a plea deal ahead of his upcoming trial. Scholtes will now be pleading guilty to second-degree murder. As part of the plea agreement, sentencing will be set for November 21st, where Scholtes will face consecutive sentences, which means he'll be behind bars for 20 to 30 years. Here's a look at the terms of the deal. Sentences running consecutively, 20 to 30 years of flat time with no eligibility for early release. He rejected the initial plea offer of 10 to 24 years in prison. Here's what Scholtes would have faced if he went to trial. First-degree murder charge, life in prison, or the death penalty potentially, or the penalties. Trial was set to begin next week. All right, so is this agreement justice for his daughter, Parker? Let's talk about it. Let's bring back in our legal eagles, Kevin Brackett and John Phillips. John, what do you say?
These cases are very personal to me. I sat in the deposition of a mother who lost her child in a hot car death that was in the car for 4 hours just yesterday. And the law needs to catch up and learn how to prosecute these cases better. Certainly 20 years, 20 to 30 years, is justice. But you've also got to realize that this child is now, passed away, and the siblings are going to lose this father, and there are no winners here through justice.
No, certainly not. Kevin Brackett, you know how tough these cases are as well. When you have a child involved and then the parents, the defendant, they've already suffered an immeasurable loss with the death of their child, but they still are deserving of punishment under the law. Your thoughts?
Well, Julie, we live in South Carolina here, and it gets awfully hot in the summertime. We've had a few of these cases in South Carolina over the years, and they kind of fall into two categories. The father who doesn't usually take his kid to work, but then one day or doesn't usually take his kid to daycare. One day he's got to do it, but he forgets. And the child falls asleep in the car seat. He goes to work, doesn't even remember the child's quiet, goes in, and then the tragedy unfolds. That's more sympathetic. It's still the responsibility of the guy. He's still screwed up. He still needs to be held accountable. Then you got the father who's inside the house doing meth for 8 hours, and he left his kid in the car. No sympathy for that. That's just murder. So the penalty needs to really match exactly what the father or the parent who neglected their child did. In this case, it seems like he's done it before. The text from his wife saying, I've told you not to do this. He's inside playing video games. He just doesn't want to be bothered, it sounded like. So I'm less sympathetic to this man. He seems to fall into the latter category, or closer to the latter category than the former.
Right, Kevin. We've got a statement from the Pima County District Attorney's Office saying, quote, under the terms of the plea, the sentences imposed by the judge are going to run consecutively, and Scholtes will face a sentencing range of 20 to 30 years of flat time, meaning he's not eligible for early release. He must serve the full sentence imposed by the court and the Department of Corrections for murdering Parker Scholtes on July 9th, 2024. John Phillips, this parent had complaints before. They were deemed unfounded, but nonetheless, unfounded by the state. His child, though, was put into the care of her mom. Could this have been prevented?
100%. The history of abuse. Anytime a parent, even by perception, is using a hot car or a car seat to babysit, that is an unfit parent. That is an abusive parent. And that's what we seem to have here. And it's intolerable. And I hope they throw the maximum at him.
Yeah, you're so right, John. Intolerable. That's a great way to put it.